Daniel here for Tabletop for One. Please join me at the table as I play through Dice Kingdoms of Valeria. And I thank you for joining me for this solo playthrough of Dice Kingdoms of Valeria. Dice Kingdoms of Valeria is designed by Levi, Mote, and published by Daily Magic Games, and they were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, along with the winter expansion, and so I thank them for that opportunity. And so in Dice Kingdoms, you are trying to build up your castle, build up the farms and the various guilds inside your castle. You're trying to build the walls, fight off monsters, and you're going to spend a total of 20 turns doing so. And the 20 turns will be tracked by the trees in the center of the board here. So at the beginning of each turn, I will cross one of those off and then perform my actions for the turn. And so if you played Valeria games, you know a lot of it revolves around rolling dice and triggering numbers to get you resources and bonuses. So in this game, it's not much different here. You'll see at the top here, there's a variety of citizens in the 4 different guilds. And when you roll the dice, you have these 2 black dice here that you roll. When you roll them, they will trigger the numbers that are represented here. So like in this case, 4 and 6 would trigger 4 and 6 of the citizens, plus the added total, so it would trigger the 10 citizen as well. But in order to trigger those citizens, you actually have to have their pips filled in. So pips in this game refers to any fillable symbol on the board. And so you'll see there are a variety of different kinds of symbols. There's just the standard black circle. There's purple stars, which represent victory points. There's green squares, which represent building the road in the forest. There's the blue soldier-looking one that represents building along the wall. And the gold one there represents coins or gold, which you'll fill in on this side. And then these red ones with the shield and the swords represent fighting monsters, which you'll fill in on the bottom. And I'll show you those as we go. And so like I said, when you roll these dice, you'll be able to use those numbers to fill in on the various guilds. So in this case here, if this was my first roll, we'll just go ahead and make that my first roll. So I rolled a 6 and a 4. Now I do not have a 4 citizen, but I do have a 6 citizen here because it's pre-filled. The 5 and 6 are pre-filled with 1. And so with that 6 being triggered, as many pips as I have filled here, I get to fill that many pips in that guild. So you can see it's got the helmet symbol here. And so I can go ahead and fill 1 pip here. And so I'll go ahead and fill that. Now, if I had filled any special shaped pips, not the black circles, but any others that give you stuff, then I would immediately trigger that bonus and gain that wherever it is on the board. Again, you'll see different icons around the board. So you'll see the gold symbol here, the blue soldier symbol here, and then on this sheet, you'll see the green square up here, and then you have the red symbols for the monsters down here at the bottom. The purple stars that you find all over the board, they're worth victory points at the end, 1 point each. And so you're going to have to count those up at the end. I highly recommend taking a pen and just using little dash marks down at the bottom left here. You'll see down here, this is a spot for the stars, the amount of points you get. So I just make little dash marks, and you'll see that as I go. It's so much easier to count in the end. And otherwise, trying to find those stars that you filled in, it's just a little too much. Now on this board here, you'll see this roads here, and you're going to be filling in these pips along the roads as you do the road action or fill in green squares elsewhere. You'll start at one of these roads here, and then you'll work your way through, and you can go off onto another path or make your way around and try and get different bonuses. Now, some of these areas, when you reach them, like this one here, allows you to adjust dice. So this one here lets you adjust the green die by +1 or -1. So all you have to do is fill in those 3 circles ahead of time here, and then you'll circle this, and that becomes a power you can use every round. Or you can approach it from a different path. So let's say I started over here, worked my way around. I can work my way back up to here and get that green one, or come down both paths. Whatever seems like the best option for you, you choose that. These ones here with the lightning symbol grant immediate benefits. So in this one in particular, this little symbol here, it looks like a little person's head or a couple people's heads there. Those are citizen symbols. You also find them down here with the monsters. And so when you circle this one here, you'll gain a citizen of that guild type. And you'll just fill in one of the pips here. So that particular guild type is for numbers 3 and 7. And so you'll get to fill in one of those pips. Now, when you're filling in pips that are in a section, like these guild ones here, or the monster ones in the small sections here, this is one section, and this is one section, or the ones up here, you're going to fill the left first, then to the, work your way left to right, and top to bottom. So in the guild sections here, the first pip will be like the one that I filled in here. I'll work my way across that top row, then the next row, and then next, and next. Along with the 2 black dice, you have these colored dice here. And as you use them, you're going to use them for the various areas. And they're kind of color-coded here. So the yellow one, you'll see the yellow banners here, represents citizens. So if I wanted to, I could use my action to use this 3 die to fill in one of the 3 citizens here. The red one here is for attacking the monsters at the bottom. And so the monsters will tell you what kind of value they require. So in this area here requires 1 to 5. This area here requires an even 9 or an odd 9, however you want to put it. And then, 1 to 4 here, 8s or 10s, 1 to 3s, 11 or 12s. This one down here, 1 to 6, and then 8 through 12s. And so now you're wondering, how do I get to, beyond 6 because the die is a 6-sided die? Well, that's where the blue die comes in. See, the blue die that you roll, you can add that to the value of the action you choose for the round. So in this case here, if I wanted to, I could add it to the red die and make that a 4. Or I could add it to the yellow die here and make that a 6. Or I could add it to the green die and make that an 8. And so that's how that works. You don't have to use the blue die, but it is an option, and you'll find yourself using it quite often. So in this case here, if I wanted to, I could add the 3 to the 3 and then fill in the second 6 symbol here. And of course, again, if you fill in a special symbol, you're going to fill in a pip of that symbol elsewhere. So let's say I did choose this 3 and the 3 together, making a 6 for the citizen track. Then I'd fill in the soldier symbol, which lets me fill in a pip on the wall. Now the green die is for this forest board where you're building the roads. And so the 5 here will represent how many pips you can fill in on the path. And so you're going to start from one of the roads. And so let's say I chose this road here. I would fill in 1, 2, 3, and then circle this ability that I received. Now, if you reach an ability like this, any leftover amount is gone. Your movement on the road ends in those spaces. And so for the next turn, you'll have to start from a new space exiting that area or from a different path that has already started elsewhere. All right, so let's also talk about the gold here. And so the gold you fill in left to right, top to bottom. And these are not separate sections here, these lines. It's a whole section altogether. Anytime that you fill in a circle here, a pip with a pillar symbol, you'll be able to choose one of these cards here. And these cards here provide endgame bonuses or instant bonuses depending on the card. I don't have any instant bonuses in front of me. You'll likely see those during the gameplay. But they have different endgame bonuses for a lot of endgame points. So like this one here actually says that you get 3 points per pillar symbol that you've covered up. And so that could earn a potential of 12 points. This one here is 3 points per star that you filled on the wall here. And there's 4 stars available on the wall, so that could earn you a lot of points. So you're going to be choosing those throughout the game to earn extra points. This, of course, is a beat your own score game with 3 levels of scoring thresholds. Anything below 60 is a loss, but 60 to 70 is one type, 70 to 80 is another, 80 and above, I believe, is the highest one. So there are different scoring thresholds. And there are two things that you need to set up for the solo mode. It's the monument deck here. There's actually two decks. This one here and this one. But these are duplicates of this deck. In the solo mode, you're not going to go through an entire deck. So you just need the one deck. And then you get the event deck. And you're going to shuffle this up and set this aside. Events will happen anytime you roll the black dice at the beginning of a round, and it's doubles. When you roll the dice the second time at the end of the round, it will not count. When you roll the dice the second time at the end of the round and it's doubles, it doesn't trigger an event. But at the beginning of the round, if you do roll doubles, it will trigger an event. And the events are tracked by the ships in the water here on this page. So you can only have a max total of 6 events happen in a game. That's only happened to me once, but that was a pretty devastating game because the events are not good. All right, so we're ready to go. So I did cross off a tree. We used that 6 to fill in that pip there because of that citizen. Now, if for some reason you roll and you do not have any citizens activated based off of your roll, like for instance, if I rolled a 1 and a 3 right now, I do not have a 1, 3, or the sum, which is a 4. I don't have any of those citizens. In that case, you would choose any one of the citizen guild tracks to advance 1 pip. And so the turn structure is you roll the dice, then you do the harvest action, which is the action I just did with the 6 and the 4. So I got the 1 pip there. And then you choose one of the colored actions. And so based off of that roll I did earlier, I have the 3, 3, 1, and 5. I get to choose what I want to do with this, and I think I'm going to go ahead and take the 3 citizen as my action. And so I'm just going to go ahead and fill in that circle on the 3 there. Now, any future actions, when the 3 is rolled, I will gain that citizen guild bonus and fill in pips on that track. So these are done here. And then we go on to the second harvest of the round. And so there you go. I rolled a 3 and a 4. I didn't have any 4s, but now I have a 3. So I'll fill in this first pip here. And it's a soldier pip, which means I fill in 1 on the wall. On the wall, you start here and work your way around and up. And then so I don't have the 4, and I don't have the total, which is a 7. And so that's going to end the turn. And so now you just cross off another tree, and you re-roll all the dice. Wow, that was an almost identical roll. 3, 3, 3, 1. And look, there's a 6 and a 4 again. I don't know how that happened, but it did. So I do get the 6 again, so we'll fill it in here. That gives me a soldier pip, so we'll fill this in here, which filled in a red shield. Now the red shield means I can fill in one of the symbols on the monster tracks here. Now one thing I forgot to mention earlier, if you use the red die to fill in a pip on the monster track, you get 1 gold coin for doing that. If you use a red shield to fill in a pip on the monster track, you don't get that bonus gold coin. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that pip to fill in this green box here, which will give me 1 road pip. And so let's see, I think I'll just go the way I was talking about before and fill in this one here. So I just get 1 there. All right, now I got to decide which action I want to take for the round. I could take another 3 and fill it in there. That would mean that when I roll a 3, I would get 2 pips in that guild. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet. I kind of wish I got a different number. Of course, I could use the blue to add to the 3, making it a 6, and fill that in. I don't know that that's best either. I think I'll go ahead and use the 3 here to fill in on the monster track. And I'll fill the next pip in on this monster track, which is another green square. And that'll give me another road. And then since I used a die for that action, I get a gold coin. And now I roll for my second harvest. And I've got a 1, 6, and a 7 as a sum. That doesn't work too well for me. I do get a pip from the 6th citizen there. And we're ready to cross out the tree and move on to the next turn. Alright, so I got a 2 and a 4. I don't have either 2 or 4 citizens, but I do have this sum total, which is 6. So once again, I'll fill in 1 there. And I think I'll go ahead and use the red die to fight a monster. And I'll fight the one over here and fill in that square there. Again, the range is 1 to 6, and that's a 5. So that'll give me one more road tile, or pip. And there we go. And so now I can circle this ability. And so that ability is going to give me a plus or -1 to the green die as I see fit. And now we roll again for the dice, the harvest. It's a 6 and a 2. Wow, that 6 wants to keep getting rolled, so I'll get another pip here. That's another soldier pip. I don't know if you noticed, but I had to switch this paper. I made a goof with a permanent marker. It's probably not the best idea. So I had to refill in a bunch of stuff. All right, and we're moving on to the 4th round. So I'll go ahead and cross out a tree and re-roll the dice. Boy, do those 6s keep getting rolled. I can't believe this. So here's the thing. This is a doubles, right, at the beginning of the round. So I'm going to immediately have to draw an event. And so the event here says ambush. Under the cover of darkness and a mysteriously sudden and dense fog, a band of monsterkin destroyed one of your domains. The damage was devastating, with stonework and statuary torn asunder and left sprawled across the clearing. We're attempting to tidy up the gardens at least, but the structure itself is a total loss. Void the dice manipulation power of one domain you have marked. Oh no. And so this dice power right here, this green one that I'd marked, is gone. But I did get doubles, so the way this works is you activate the number in the doubles twice. So the 6 here, I will get 2 pips, but unfortunately I didn't fill any bonus pips for that activation. And I don't have the 12 citizens, so that's it for the harvest. I almost feel like I should just go ahead and spend this 6 die on the 6 citizen, but you know what? This track is getting filled up fast anyways. I don't know that it's worth it. But maybe I will. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll fill it in. That gives me another soldier pip. We'll fill that in here, which gives me another shield pip, which means I can attack a monster. And so we'll go ahead and attack this one I've been attacking before. And on this fill in here, that gives me a free citizen of my choice. And so I think I'll go with 1 or 2. Let's go ahead and go with 1. And then we go ahead and roll for the second harvest of the round. I forgot to mark off a ship for that event, so you want to make sure you track those, so you don't want to take on too many events. Alright, and for that harvest, I've got a 2, 3, and a 5 because of the sum. We do have the 3, so we'll fill in 1 there. And we do have the 5, and we'll fill in 1 there. Nothing bonus triggered at that time. And then we go ahead and cross out a tree and go on to rolling for the next round. Well, I guess it paid off to fill in those 6s, because now I get 2 pips there. That's 1 soldier pip and 1 regular pip. So we'll fill in a soldier pip there. And then I also have the 3, so I get to fill in 1 here, and that's a road pip, the green square. So where do we want to fill it in? I think this time I'll start 1 here and fill in that spot. And I don't have the 9 citizens, so nothing gets added there. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the 5 green die and fill in these 5 circles here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to give me this instant power here, which gives me a free citizen of that guild. And that's the number 7 here, or 3. We'll go with 7. And that'll give me a free gold coin, which I'll fill in there. Again, even if I added the 6 to that 5, the 6 blue, that would make 11. I'd still have to stop at that area because of the rule stating that once you enter in one of those areas, that ends your movement. And then we roll for the harvest again. We got a 2 and a 3. That's going to be semi-helpful. So the 3 gives us a soldier pip there, which gives us a shield pip, which lets us attack this monster, which lets me get another road, which lets me get this bonus here. And then the 2 and the 3 together activate the 5, which gives me another road. And let's see, let's go ahead and put it right here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and mark off the next tree and roll the dice. Alright, 2 and 4, neither of those activate, but the 6 does. And again, I have the 6 marked with both pips. That means I get 2 pips on that guild. So we get 1 there and 1 there. That's 1 soldier pip, so we'll fill in 1 more right there. And I think we'll go ahead and use the 3 to attack this monster, filling in this citizen pip here, gives us a free citizen. So let's go ahead and fill in the number 2, because we've been getting 2s but no activations. Let's try that. And since I used a red die for that action, I do get a free gold coin. And we'll roll for the second harvest. Hey, that worked out. We get to activate the 2, which lets us fill in a pip there. Then the 6, which is 2 pips. 1, 2. And that gives us a road. We'll fill in that road there. And we're ready to go on to the next round, crossing off the tree. Alright, we got some good activations. So the 2 gets activated, giving us a road pip, so we'll fill in that one there. And then the 5 gets activated, same guild. Fill in that there. And then the 2 together make a 7, so we'll get to activate that guild and fill that there. And once again, I'm going to use the red die and fill in this here. This gives me another road pip, so we'll fill that. And then I get a gold coin for using the red die. Alright, we're on to the next round. Oh no, we got doubles again. So we'll cross off a ship, draw an event card, and we have the pacifists. In spite of all the bad news about the monsterkin laying siege to the castles in the south, a cult of peace and light has gathered foothold among the castle guards. The offenders have been put on dungeon duty to keep them out of the queen's sight, but that left us short-handed and on patrols, and we're unable to slay every monsterkin before it damages the wall. So this tells me to void unmarked slay pips on the wall. 4 unmarked slay pips. Now it doesn't tell me which ones to void. Sometimes it'll say the next 4 pips or something like that. So we'll go ahead and void the ones in the back. And basically you just draw a line through them. And should you come across them, you don't ever have to fill them in. You treat them as though they don't exist. And unfortunately, I don't have any activations here. So the 4s, I don't have any 4 citizens. And I don't have the 8 citizens, so that means I get to fill in any one guild pip and guild spot that I want. And I guess we'll go ahead and fill in this one here, which gives me a soldier pip, which gives me a slay pip. And I'll fill in this one down here, which gives me a road pip, then this one. And I get to circle this, which gives me another citizen. And, oh, I don't know. Maybe I'll go ahead and get the 9/10 citizen here, which gives me a gold coin. And I think it might be time for me to use a road action. So we're going to go ahead and combine the 3 and the 4 to make a 7 and fill in these ones along this path here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which lets me circle this area. And so that'll give me another citizen, which I guess we can finally fill in the 4 citizen. I also got a soldier pip here, so we'll fill in 1 there. And then we'll roll for the second harvest. It's doubles again, but thankfully it's on the second harvest, so it doesn't trigger an event. And so I'll get to activate the 3 twice, which also gives me another citizen. So I don't know where I want to put him. You know, maybe I should just round it out. We'll put it on 8. Maybe I'll just try to get 1 of each citizen here. And so 8 now has a citizen. That gives me a soldier pip, which gives me a slay pip. And I think I'll put it here, which gives me another soldier pip. But that's not going to trigger anything at this point. And also these 2 together give me the 6 citizen triggered. And that'll give me 2 more pips on that track. Alright, we're ready to go on to the 9th round. Alright, so the 1 gets activated. And I finally get a pip in that guild. And that gives me a road pip. So let's see. We'll go ahead and start crossing over here. And then the 3 adds 1 here. And then the 1 and 3 together making the 4. Add 1 down here. Gives me another road pip right here. And so maybe we'll go ahead and use that 1 to fill in this citizen pip here. And that will give me the free 11/12 citizen. And I also get a free gold coin. So a couple things are happening here. So first of all, we earned a star right here by filling in that pip. So like I said, you just make little dash marks here. So I'll just write 1 there. And then I filled in my first pillar card. So now I get to choose from these monuments which one I want. And both of these look enticing here since I've already filled in 2 of those citizens. So either of these will give me 6 points at the end. I'll go ahead and take that one because that one looks really cool. And then you replenish the row. And now I go on to the second harvest. Alright, with a 4 and a 6, I get to activate the 4, gives me 1 here. And then the 6 gives me 2 more, and that's 2 soldier pips, so we'll fill in there. That gives me 1 slay pip. And we'll go ahead and fill in this one here, which gives me a gold coin. Not because I didn't use a red die for that, but because it filled in a gold coin pip here. And we're on to round 10, and we're about halfway done. All right, we got the 4 and the 6 again. That reminds me, I forgot to add that 4 and the 6 from the last one before, giving me a 10, which would have triggered one here, giving me one more gold coin, which gives me a soldier pip, which gives me a sleigh pip, which I'll fill in here for the star. I'll mark the star here. And then now this monster is completely filled in, so I've defeated the monster. So at the end of the game, I will get 5 points here for this monster, unless I get an event card that tells me otherwise. And the next one here is 7 points, 9 points, and 11 points. You don't have to do them in order. It's totally up to you. I just happened to finish that one first. And so we'll go ahead and activate the harvest on these. So the 4 gives me 1 here. The 6 gives me 2 more here, and that's a gold coin and a soldier. So we'll fill in those here. And then the 10 gives me that one. And so I think I want to use the yellow to give me a 5 citizen. The 5 citizen here will give me another road pip, which I can fill in here, which gives me another gold coin, because I just filled in a gold coin spot. And we're ready for the second harvest. 6 and a 1. So I'll fill in 1 here for a soldier, which gives me a sleigh, which I will fill in right here for a gold coin, and fill that. Then the 6 gives me 2 more soldiers here, and that's 1 star and 1 sleigh. So I'll add 1 more to the stars here, and 1 to the sleigh right here. And that gives me 1 more star. Now notice, I went from top to bottom here. I don't have to fill in these first before these, but these are separate sections. And then the 1 and the 6 together give me a 7, which lets me fill in this here and gives me another road. And check that out, I unlocked another ability. Now this lets me modify any 1 die that I use by +1 or -1. And you can combine abilities too, so if I wanted to add 1 to a blue die and then use this to add another to that blue die, I could do that. Alright, we're moving on to the 11th round. Alright, so the 1 is going to give me a pip here. The 3 will give me 1 here. And then the 4 will give me 1 here. Now, so you see this one is the 4 matching this guild. This guild is full now. You know what that means? I can't put anything else there. So any 4s or 6s or 8s that get rolled will not benefit me anymore here. So you have to be careful with that. You have to be careful going strong with certain citizens and certain guilds. Investing in those guilds will cause them to max out on their efficiency and their productivity and no longer be productive or help the kingdom grow. But now we got a nice big roll here with a 5 and a 5. That'll make a 10 for the roads. But we can go ahead and add 1 to the green, making it a 6. And then add 1 here with this ability to the blue, making that a 6 as well. And we'll get a 12 here. And so we're going to start right here and work our way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That gives me 1 gold coin, which lets me get one of the monument cards. And I'll get that one I was eyeing earlier. I also get 1 sleigh action, which I think I'll go ahead and fill in this one here, giving me another gold coin. And I get 1 soldier pip, and we'll fill that in. And then we go on to second harvest. And so we have the 2, which lets me fill in here. The 5 I have 2 pips for, so I get 2 more in it. And that gave me a road pip, which I will place right here. Alright, next round. Alright, so we got double 1, so we're going to have to trigger another event. And this event is the plague. A dark illness has beset the castle, afflicting the most precious members of our citizenry. We fear that this may be the same plague that struck Kosk when it was first settled. Luckily, our clerics have the means to heal the sick, but we must quarantine those who have come in contact with the afflicted and insist that all citizens cover their mouth and nose while in public. And so I have to void 2 unmarked star pips in the citizen tableau. And so I just pick any of the 2 unmarked star pips. There's quite a few here. I'll just go ahead and pick this one and this one. And so now my 1s trigger, so I get to trigger this one twice, gaining 2 pips, which gives me 1 road pip, which I'll fill in there. And then, of course, adding 1 and 1 together is 2, so we get to fill in that one. And I think I'm going to work my way down the road again. So I have a 6 and a 3 here. I'll use the +1 on the 3, making a 4. And then I'll use this +1 on that 3 again, making that a 5. So I have 11 total. And I'll fill these in. And that gives me one more star. And then one slay action, which I'll fill in here, giving me one more star. And there we go. We're up to 6 stars now. And then I'll go ahead and roll for the second harvest. Oh, that's double 6s. That is like pretty much no good for me. Except for the fact that adding the 6 and the 6 together gives me a 12. So again, remember that the 6s activate this guild, which I have completely full. But 6 and 6 make 12, so I get to activate that guild. Gives me one road pip. We'll fill it in there. Gives me a soldier pip. We'll fill it in here. Gives me a slay option, and we'll fill it here for a gold coin, which adds another soldier pip, which gives me a star. And that makes 7 stars. That was quite a bit of combo action for not doing so well on that roll. And we're on to round 13. Alright, so the 4 is going to activate this guild, which is full. The 5 will activate this one. And then the 9 will activate this one, which gives me a free citizen. So I'm going to look at these 2 cards over here that I have the monuments of. I'm going to fill in one of the pips for one of these citizens so I get points at the end. And we'll go ahead and fill in this one on the number 1 die, and that'll give me another star, making 8 stars. And it's kind of a low amount of dice here. Let's see, I'll go ahead and use the red die and fill in this pip here, which gives me a road pip and a gold coin for using the red die. And then we'll roll for second harvest. And so we got 5 and 4 again, but again, 4 doesn't activate, but we do have 5, and that'll give me another road pip. And then we do have 9, which will give me another one here. And then we're on to round 14. Alright, so we have the 1, which activates twice, and that'll give us a gold coin. The 4, which doesn't activate, but the 1 and 4 together being a 5 does. And I'll fill this in. Once again, I think I'll use the red die to slay a monster, and we'll do this one here, giving me another road pip, which does this, adding this citizen to my board. So I'll fill in this spot here, which gives me a star. And let's not forget that I get a gold coin for using the red die. And then we'll roll for the second harvest. Double 6s again, so the 12 only helps me here, which will give me 1 here, which gives me a road pip, which I think I'll fill in here. And we're on to round 15. Alright, so the 2 gives me 2 pips here, which gives me a gold coin, which gives me another monument card. And since I have 3 monuments already, I might as well go ahead and get this monument card, which give me 3 points per monument. And the 6 doesn't activate, nor does the 8. So that's all I get out of that harvest. I'll go ahead and use the red die again. I want to keep slaying monsters. This time I'll slay this one because I want the road pip, which I'll fill in there. And that'll give me a gold coin for using the red die. And I forgot to replenish the row here. And so this is one of those one-time use cards. So if I took this as a pillar reward, I would be able to get 3 slay actions with this. And sometimes that's worth it, sometimes it's not. I think this late in the game, it's probably not worth it. And then we'll go ahead and roll for the second harvest. And so with the 2, I activate that twice. The 4 doesn't activate, nor does the 6. Alright, we're moving on to round 16. Alright, the 1's activating twice, and that'll give me 1 road pip, which I'll fill in here, which gives me 1 soldier to fill in here, gives me 1 slay to fill in here, gives me another road pip to fill in here, which lets me gain this action here. And the 4 doesn't activate, but the 5 does twice, and that'll also give me 1 more road pip, which I think I'll just put right here. And this time I'm going to use the green and the blue die. I will upgrade the green by 1, making it a 3. I don't have any other green bonuses because I lost that one earlier, so I'll get 9 out of this, and we'll start filling these in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so I get 1 soldier, 1 gold coin, gives me another soldier, which gives me a star, and then I have 1 slay action, which I'll fill in here, giving me another road, which I'll fill in here, giving me another star. And now I have 11 stars. And then I roll for the second harvest. And so I have a 3 and a 4, so the 3 is going to give me 1 pip, which is a gold coin. The 4 gives me nothing, but the 7 gives me another one of these. And then we're ready to go on to the next round. Alright, the 4 gives me nothing, the 5 gives me 2 pips here, which gives me a road pip. And then the 9 gives me 1 here, which gives me a gold coin. Once again, I think I'm just going to keep moving along the road. I have a +1 to the blue and a +1 to the green with this one here. That'll give me 11. I'll start filling them in here. And that gives me 2 soldier pips, which gives me a star, making 12 stars. And then I get 1 free citizen, and I think we'll go ahead and fill this one here, giving me another star. And then we roll for the second harvest. That's not bad at all. Double ones gives me 2, actually 4 here. This will give me 2 pips for 1 die, but now it's activating twice, so I get a total of 4. And that'll give me 1 gold coin and another road pip, which lets me activate this spot here. Now you may be wondering why I went this way. Other than the bonuses here, when you circle these spaces here, at the end of the game you're going to get 1 point for each of those spaces that you circled. So that'll get me a point in the end. And then the 1 plus the 1 making 2 gives me 2 pips here, which gives me 2 more roads, and I'll just fill in this one and this one, giving me a star. And we're on to round 18. Oh no, I rolled doubles this late in the game. That's going to cause another event. And so we have vandals. In a cowardly act, hooligans defaced and desecrated the holy shrines in your duchy with scrawled slogans like, "Well, I didn't vote for her," and "Help, help, I'm being repressed." Novices and apprentices are scrubbing the shrines now, but it seems unlikely they'll be fully cleaned by the Queen's visit. Void 4 unmarked star pips on the roads on the forest sheet. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and void that one, and that one. And there are no more unmarked stars, so it just voided those 3. And then we'll go ahead and fill in. And once again, I get 4 pips out of this. So that's 2 gold coins and 1 road pip, which I think I'll place here. And I also covered up a pillar, so we'll go ahead and get another monument card. And we'll go ahead and take this one here. Again, this gives me 3 points per soldier star, the stars on the wall that I had filled in, and I filled in 4. Alright, so I want to attack the monsters this time, and so I'm going to use the 5 and the 4 here, and I'm going to adjust the 5 by 1 with the multicolored adjustment here, making it 8. That way I can fill in this spot here because it requires an 8, and I'll get a star and a gold coin. The gold coin will give me another star, so that's 2 more, making a total of 16 stars. And then I'll roll for the second harvest. And so that activates the 3, which gives me soldier pip, but the wall is done, so I can't use it there. The 5 would activate this guild, but that guild's done. And then the 8 activates that guild, and that guild's done. So I didn't get much out of the activation. Once again, you have to be careful how you balance these things out, because if you build your engine too fast early on, it burns out too fast. And we're on to round 19. Alright, so the 1 activates, giving me some here, and that's just going to fill up that guild, giving me a gold coin and a star. The 2 doesn't activate, but the 3 does, giving me another pip here. Now, one thing to note, in the main game when you're playing multiplayer, if somebody fills in the 3 of the 4 guilds, the game will end at the end of that round. It is unclear in the rulebook whether that applies to the solo mode, because in the solo mode part of the rulebook, it tells you that the game runs for 20 rounds, and doesn't repeat it ending after 3 guilds get filled in. So the common understanding is that it goes for the full 20 rounds, which really is only 1 more round at this point. And so I'm going to take this 5 here, and I'm going to adjust it lower again, making it a 4, again using this ability here. And I'm going to attack this monster, because I want to kill off this monster pretty soon here, but that'll do it. And that gives me my 18th star. And then we roll for the second harvest. And only the 3 activation is going to do anything, giving me a road, and I'll place it here. And we're on to the 20th round. And none of these numbers for the first harvest are going to give me anything at this point. So basically I'm choosing my final action for the game and hoping the last harvest does something. And with that in mind, I'm going to use these 2 dice here. I'm going to go ahead and flip this die here to the 4 side with this ability. Then I'm going to add 1 to it and make it a 5. Although I guess I could have just left it at 9, but whatever. So I'll fill in this one here, giving me another star. But that particular citizen also counts towards my monument card, so that'll be worth it. And then we're going to roll for the final second harvest. It's a 2 and a 3. That 3 will help me by filling in here, but it doesn't actually give me any bonus actions. and that'll be the end of the game. And so now you're going to fill in your final scoring chart here. You're going to add in all of your monument goals, the points that you earned off of those in each of these spots, and put that total here. You'll add in your monster points that you killed and put that total in here. The amount of places you circled on the forest map here, and then your total stars, which for me was 19. And so this first one here, again, this one says I get 3 points per star that I earned on the wall. I earned 4, so that'll give me 12 points. This one here says 3 points per that guild type of citizen, and I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. That'll give me 9 points. This one is 3 points per that type of citizen. I've got all 4 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll give me 12 points. And this one will be 3 points per monument, which I got all 4 of those monuments, so that'll be another 12 points. And so the total of these here is going to be 45 points. And then we'll look on this map here for the rest of it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total of the circled areas, and that'll give me 9 points here. And then for the monsters, I get the top score here for the monsters, and that's 7 points. 9 points, that's 16, plus the 5 on the one here, and so that's 21. And so my grand total is going to be 94 points, which puts me well above a victory. And so there you have it. That is the solo playthrough of Dice Kingdoms of Valeria by Levi, Mote, and Daily Magic Games. Ask me any questions in the comments below. Feel free to point out any rules errors I might have made, or maybe I missed filling in a gold coin. Sometimes I do that. Please also like and subscribe to this channel if you like the content you see here, and I thank you very much for watching Tabletop for One. Have a great night.